Hello everyone, welcome to this instruction video and thank you for joining us at our recent crochet workshop at Tamworth Library. So in this video I'm going to show you again how to make the Tamworth tote, just to give you the extra bit of support after our workshop. So I have developed this pattern for beginners based on Fiona Falk's apple bag pattern, and for this video I'm using this cotton twine, which you can get at your local hardware, your craft shop, or even at the $2 shop. If you have some cotton at home, you can use that, but make sure it's of durable quality. So what I'm using with this is a size 5mm hook. You can use any hook and any yarn you like, but it will affect the size of your bag. Okay, so I'm going to take you step by step through all the rounds of this bag. So let's start with round 1 with the body of the Tamworth tote. So to make it a bit easier on yourself, grab yourself your stitch marker so you can keep track of where you are in the pattern. So to start with, we use a slip knot, which I've shown you in the workshop, but I'll show you again. Short end there, go over your fingers, put your hook in and pull through. If you have trouble, follow the instructions on the basic video again. So once you have your slip knot, we can start the pattern. So we start with chaining 2. There is 1, yarn over, go through the hoop, and there you have 2. Now we can actually start the bag. So go back to your first stitch, which is your second stitch from the hook, and we're going to make 6 single crochet in that little hook, which we've practiced in the workshop. So go ahead and make 1, and that's your first stitch. So you can put your stitch marker in there so you know where you are in the round. So that's 1. You need to do 6 of them in this little round. So here we go. Number 2. So yarn over through both the loops, go in the little stitch, yarn over through both loops, and make sure you do 6 of them. If you forget to count, you can count your loop stitch. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 single crochet made. We need 2 more. So off we go, yarn over through 2 loops, last one, yarn over through 2 loops. Now, if you have crocheted before, you're used to slip stitching or, starting a new round again, but this time we're going to go in spirals, so we just keep going. But don't lose track where you are, so you're going to keep changing your stitch marker to your first stitch. So this is the first round done already, so well done getting this far. The start is there. Okay, round 2, and follow the pattern, so have the pattern with you. Now we're going to do 2 single stitches in each single stitch of the previous round. So take your stitch marker out so you know that's going to be your first stitch. And we're going to make 2 single crochet in the 1 stitch. So you go through both the loops, yarn over, pull it through. It's a little bit tricky because we're working with twine and not with normal soft wool. Put them through both the loops. There's your first single crochet. Remember, we're making 2 in each single crochet of this previous round. So there we've done 2. Now don't forget to put your stitch marker in the first stitch made. Otherwise you're going to forget where you are, which is not a big problem, but your bag might not be as neat as you would like it. Alright, so that's the first stitch done. We need to make 2 in every of these 6 stitches, so we end up with 12. Off we go. So you can probably do this by yourself, but I'll keep going. 2 in each single stitch and go through both the loops so it's nice and strong. So through both loops, yarn over, through both loops. twice in each loop. 1, 2, nearly to the end. 1, 2. And I've put the stitch counts on the pattern just in case you want to check if you have the right count. So now we should have 12 stitches, and we can start round 3. Round 3 is going to be the same as round 2. So that's easy for you. Just go ahead, take your stitch marker out, 2 single crochets in every single crochet of the previous round. So here we go again. There's 1, put your stitch marker in. There's 2. Eventually there will be 2. There's 2. So go ahead, do 2 in each of these stitches, and I'll see you for round 4. You should have 24 stitches there. Okay, so we finished round 3 with 2 single crochets in each single crochet. So now you should have 24. And if you're using the pattern, the written pattern while you're crocheting, it's a good idea to just tick off every round you've done, because sometimes you get interrupted and you have no idea where you're up to. But we know where we are now. We're going to do round 4. So in round 4, we're going to start to make the bag nice and round, because if we keep doing 2 singles, it's going to be a bit too wavy. So for now, we're going to do 2 single crochets in the first stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next, and we go all the way around, 2 single crochets, then 1, 2 single crochets, 1 single crochet, all the way to the end. Let me show how it's done. So take your stitch marker out, that's your first stitch. So what are we doing here? 2 single crochet in this one. So there's 1 and there's 2. Put your stitch marker in the first stitch made so you know where you're up to. So we've done our 2, now we're going to do 1 single crochet only. And again we do 2. Sometimes it gets a little bit tricky because they get a little bit small, but you just have to get through there. So there's 1, 2 in the 1 single crochet, and then we do 1. So once you get this, oh look, there's a little bit of this stitch stuck, so you just fix it. There we go. So you do 2, you do 1, you do 2, you do 1. Go all the way around till you get to the end, and I'll meet up with you there. You should have 36 stitches by then. Okay, so we're going to do round 5, where you do 2 single crochets in the first stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. Now it's very easy to forget to put your stitch marker back in, so don't forget, because it's very hard to find the beginning again. So take your stitch marker out, do your first 2 singles in 1 single crochet of the first round, and stick your stitch marker back in the first single crochet made. So there's 2 made in that 1 stitch. Now you're going to make 1 single crochet and another single crochet in the next stitch. So twice you do only 1. Now we're going to do 2 in the 1, 2 single crochet in the 1 crochet. Now we're back to 1 single crochet, and you do that for 2 stitches in a row. So 1 single, 1 single. Sounds a bit complicated, but it is really easy. You just have to pay attention. So this one we do 2 single crochet. That's 1, 2. So you got 2 in there, and then you do 1 single, another single. So go all the way around. So 2 singles, 1 single, 1 single, 2 singles, 1 single, 1 single. Go all the way around till you get to your stitch marker again, and you should have 48 stitches by then. And then you can breathe, because the 6th round, this will be very easy. Okay, we've done round 5 of our Tamworth Tote, and we have 48 stitches now. See how it's a little bit wavy? That's completely fine. Wave back if you feel the need, but it will work out in the bag. So now we're up to round 6, which is nice and easy. We're just going to do 1 single stitch in each stitch of the previous round. So we had 48 stitches. After round 6, we're going to have 48 stitches again. Now remember, take your stitch mark out. Here we go. Oops. Make sure you have yarn. There's your first stitch. Put your stitch marker back in. And then you go all the way around till you get back to your stitch marker, and you should have 48 stitches still. So I'll do a few with you. But you really don't need to hold your hand, because it's just singles. You just go around. Easy peasy. I'll see you at the end of round 6. Okay, so round 6 was nice and easy. Just 1 single stitch in each stitch of the previous round, and we got 48 stitches now. Only 2 more rounds left of the bottom of the bag. So what we'll do is do round 7. Now we're going to do 2 single stitches in the first stitch of the previous round, and then 1 stitch in every in the next 3 stitches basically. So I'll show you, because it sounds more complicated than it is. Stitch marker out. There's your first stitch. 2 single stitches in there. So here we go. 1, 2, don't forget to put it back in your first stitch made. Okay, so we've done 2 single stitches in the first single stitch of the previous round. Now we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. So 1, another 1, and the 3rd single one. There we go. That's your repeat. So we'll do again 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. 1, 2 single crochets in the 1. Sometimes it is a little bit hard with this twine, but just keep going. And now we're doing 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3. So keep going like that. 2 single crochets in 1 stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next 3. Keep going like that till you get to the end of row 7, which is where your stitch marker is, and you should have 60 stitches then, and then it's one really easy round again, and then we can start with the actual pattern of the bag, so the net. So it's getting exciting now. Let's get and finish round 7, and I'll see you for round 8. Okay, we've finished round 7. We now have 60 stitches. Round 8 is very, very easy, getting you ready for the hard work really. So round 8 is 1 single stitch in each single crochet from the previous round. So once again, stitch marker, you should get used by that by now. 1 single crochet in every single stitch. So just put your stitch marker back. That's your first one made. Now you just have to do 60 times the same thing. And if you think that's getting too many, think of me who's doing a blanket and are doing 1,000 stitches to go around. So 60 is really not too bad. So go ahead, make your 60 stitches, and I'll see you for round 9. Okay, we've done round 8 with all our single crochets all around. We got 60 stitches now. And I'm just going to show you how far you've come. So we've done the base of the bag, and now we're going to build the lovely pattern. So let's get back to crochet. We're going to do round 9 now. So now we're not going to count the total stitches anymore. We're going to count the sets. So the sets are the loops, basically. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 single crochets in the first single crochet. Then we're going to chain 2, skip 2, and then start over again. So 2 single crochets in the next, chain 2, skip 2, and all the way around. Let me show you. Take your stitch marker out. 2 single crochets in the first stitch. There's 1, 2. Put your stitch marker back in so we know where we are. Okay, so we've done our 2 single crochets. Now we want to chain 2. 1. Make sure you actually take your yarn with you. 2. So now you have a tiny little loop there. We skip 2 stitches, so there's 1, 2, and go back into the 3rd stitch, where you then going to make 2 single crochets. So this is going to be your little repeat, which you will do all the way around. So 1 and 2. Then we do 2 chain, 1, 2, skip 2, 1, 2, and crochet 2 singles. 1, oops, and 2. So see how you have your little loops there? We're going all the way around, and then we'll have 20 of these sets. Okay. So get some more yarn. Here we go. 2 chains, so chain 1, chain 2, skip 2, 1, 2, and do your singles. 1 and 2 in the same stitch. I'll show you one more time and you should be right. So chain 2, skip 2, and single crochet for 2. 1 and 2. There you go. Now go all the way around till you have 20 of these little loops, and I'll see you for round 10 when you get to your stitch marker. Okay, off you go. Okay, so we've done round 9, where we now have 20 sets of these little loops. You end with a chain 2. Now to start round 10, we're going to do 2 single stitches in the first chain space. See how you have your first chain space there? So that's where we're going to go. Take your stitch marker out. 2 single stitches in the first chain space. So you don't actually go in a stitch at all. You just go through the chain space. So there's your first single crochet, and one more time through the chain space and make your single crochet. So you make 2 there, put your stitch marker in the first single crochet made. Okay? Now the rest is pretty similar. So you do chain 2, 1, 2, and then you need to do your 2 single crochet, not in any of the stitches but in the chain space again. So go through the chain space. There's your first crochet, and there's your second single crochet. See, there's your new loop made. So we're going to do that 20 times basically till you get to your stitch mark again. I'm just going to show you a couple more times because it's a little bit tricky if you haven't done it before. So 1, 2 chains, then your 2 single crochet in the chain space. Just go through the space, pick up your yarn and make your single, through, yarn over and make your single. One more time, chain 2, 1, 2, go to the next chain space, go through, 1 single crochet and 1 more single crochet. There you go. Go all the way to the end till you get to your stitch marker and just finish with your chain 2. I'll see you there. Okay, so we finished round 10 and you finish it with a chain 2 space, and there's your first stitch again. So what we're going to do now is 2 singles in the first chain space, and then instead of your chain 2 we're going to do a chain 3, but the 2 singles in the chain space stay the same. So we keep doing 2 singles, chain 3, 2 singles, chain 3, but I'll show you. It's easier to see it than, you know, just to hear it. So in the first chain space we're going to do 2 single stitches, 1 and 2. So your stitch marker will go to that one. And now instead of the 2 chains we've been doing, we're now going to do a chain 3. So 1, get some more yarn, 2 and 3. So your loops are going to be a bit longer. And then just 2 single crochets again. So 1 and 2 in the chain space. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. 2 singles in the chain space. 1, 2. So the whole of round 11 is going to be chain 3, single 2, chain 3, single 2. So I'll show you one more time. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and in your chain space you're going to single crochet for 2. Oops, yarn is not cooperating. 1 and 2. So go ahead, go around, chain 3, 2 single crochets in the little loop, chain 3, and so on all the way till you get to your stitch marker again, and you finish with a chain 3. I'll see you there. Okay, so we finished round 11 with your chain 3 space, and we have 20 sets. Well done getting this far. Now you get to do it 4 more times. So for round 12, 13, 14 and 15, we're just going to repeat round 11. So check your patterns that you're doing the right thing. I'll show you one set. So you do your 2 singles, 1, 2, put your stitch marker in, remember? We don't want to lose count of the rounds. So now we're doing round 12. So chain 3, 2 singles in the next chain space, chain 3, and so on all the way till you get to your stitch marker again. There'll be around 12. Do it again for 13, 14 and 15, and I'll see you again for round 16. Okay, so last time we did round 11 and I told you to repeat it 4 times. So you've now done round 12, 13, 14 and 15 exactly as we did 11. So now we're starting row 16. You ended row 15 with your chain 3, and that's where we're going to start row 16 now. So there's the start of row 15. So don't forget that's your stitch marker, and we change that all the time. So get your pattern and it will say 2 single crochet in the first chain space of the previous round. So there's your chain space. Go through it, and we're doing 1, 2 single crochet, and put your stitch marker in that first single crochet made. That's the start of round 16. So up to now we've done chain 3s and 2 single crochets. This round we're starting chain 3s and then alternating 2 single crochets, 3 single crochets, 2 single crochets, 3 single crochets. I'll show you a few times so you get the hang of it. So we've done our 2, Now it's a matter of chaining 3, so 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to single crochet 3 in the next space, chain space. So here we go, 1, 2, and 3. So that's your little repeat. Chain 3, single crochet for 2, chain 3, single crochet for 3. So I'll show you one more time. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet for 2, 1, 2, and always the chain 3 in between. So 1, 2, 3, and now your chain, your single crochet for 3 in the chain space. 1, 2, 3. So that's your pattern. 2, 3. Now you keep going all the way till the end with your chain 3, 2 single crochet in the chain space, chain 3, 3 single crochet in the chain space. So go all the way around till you get to the end, and guess what? Rows 17 to 29 are exactly the same as this one, so you can just keep going. Every time you end with a chain 3 and you start again with a 2 single crochet in the first chain space. Now if you do 17 to 29, that's the original pattern. If you want a bigger bag, you can keep going, but don't forget it will stretch, so don't go overboard, okay? So off you go. I'll see you back after you've done your very many repeats. Okay, so we finished all the repeats, round 16, and then you repeat it from 17 to 29 or even more if you want. So you end up with a bag like that. If you think it's not tall enough, you can go further, but if you shake it out a bit, it drops down a bit, and with produce in it, it will stretch more, so just don't do too many repeats. Okay, so now we're ready to start the bag edge, and then after that we can do the handles. So we start with a new set of rounds. So the round 1 for the bag edge will start now. So you ended round 29 or however many rounds you did with your chain 3, and there's the start. So what we'll do now is we're going to do a whole row of single crochets, but you just have to be a little bit careful where you put them in. So we're starting with 2 single crochets in the first chain space. So there's the first chain space. 1, 2, and remember to put your stitch marker in the first single crochet made, so you can keep track of which rounds you are. Of course you can always count it back, but it's just a little bit easier to have that stitch marker at the beginning of your round. So we've done our 2 single crochets in the first chain space. What we now have to do is to make a single crochet in each single crochet of the previous round. So here we have our 3, there we have our 2, there we have our 3. So in the 3 we make 3 single crochets. So there, see that little hole? That's where you need to go. There's 1, 2, and 3. Now don't be tempted to go in this one, because the loop that belongs to that single crochet is always to the right. So we've done our 3, now we're at the chain space again. In every chain space you're going to do 2 single crochets. So 1, 2, and now we're at our 2 single crochets from the previous round, so we have to make 1 single crochet in each. Remember the loop to the right of it. So this one, 1, 2. You'll soon get the hang of it. So there's your chain space again. We want 2 single crochets in there. So just remember 2 single crochets in every chain space, and then you just follow the singles from the previous round. So here we have 3 again, the little loop to the right of it, so 1, 2, 3, and we're back to the chain space. So every chain space you do 2 single crochets. Where you have the single crochets from the previous round, you just follow how many you have. So here's 2, so you make 2, chain space 2, here's 3, so you make 3. So follow that all around till you get to the end, and you should have 88 single crochets then. And I'll see you for the next round. Okay, so we've finished round 1. So we made our single stitches, 2 in the chain spaces and 1 single in every single of the previous round. So now we should end up with 88 single crochets. Round 2 is very easy for the bag edge. You just do 1 single crochet in each single crochet from the previous round. So this is where we started. Take your stitch marker out. And that's where we start again. So there's your first one. Just pop it back in so you can keep track of the rounds. Now I can show you a few, but it's now very easy. You just go through both the loops of your single crochet and make a single crochet. So just one on top of the other. So go all the way around till you get to your stitch marker again, and that's your round 2, still on 88 stitches. And we want to get the edge nice and firm, so we will do another 3 rounds of that. So you do round 2, and then round 3, 4 and 5 are exactly the same. So you have 88 stitches all around for round 2, 3, 4 and 5, and it's just single stitches, so you don't even have to think. Please go ahead and finish those rounds, and I'll see you for round 6. Okay, so now we've finished the bag edge with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds of single crochets, and we have 88 stitches all around. Now we're going to start with the handles. So we have to chain 35, and that's to make your first handle. Then we're going to skip 20 stitches and single crochet in the next 24. So I'm just going to remind you how to chain. So chain, you don't actually go in any stitch except for the stitch on your hook. So you just yarn over, go through, that's your first chain. 2, 3, 4, 5. You keep doing this till you have 35, okay? And then I'll meet up with you there. Okay, so we've made our 35 stitches for our chain. If you're not sure, you can always count the loops. It's not that important how many you have, but it is important that you have both sides the same, otherwise your handles will be lopsided, so we don't want that. So we've got 35 stitches in our chain. Now we're going to attach it to the bag again, so we have to skip 20 stitches. So start counting where your stitch marker is. So there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20 stitches we're skipping. 21st stitch is the one. We're going to attach our chain there. Just make sure your chain hasn't twisted around or anything. So now you're just going to do your normal single crochet, and that will be the beginning of your handle. We need to do single crochets now for the next 24. So this was the first, so 23 more. So count 24 in total for your single crochets, and then we'll start the next handle, but I will show you there. So just go ahead, do 24 stitches, and I'll see you there. Okay, so we've done our first handle, then we had to do the singles, and we made 24 singles. Now we're ready to make our second handle, which should be exactly the same as your first. So we're going to chain 35. I'll just show you the beginning again. There's 1, 2, oops, 3, 4, 5. Go ahead and make 35 chains, and then I'll see you where we attach it again. Okay, so we've made our chain 35, just like the first one, and exactly the same. We have to skip 20 stitches again. So there's your first one. So 2, 4, oh, lost count, do it again. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20 stitches skipped. So we're going to go in this one. Just want to make sure my chain hasn't twisted on itself. I think we're good. Okay, so a normal single crochet there again. Oops, try and get it in. And then we do 1 single crochet in every single crochet of the previous round till we get to the beginning, which is here. That should be 24 stitches now, and I'll see you when we get to the handle again, okay? Okay, so we went around and did our 24 stitches in every single stitch, and guess what? We ended up in the right spot, so yay for us. Now we have to work in the chain to make singles, but it's different to these. Like in these you go through both the loops, but because we've just made a chain, you actually only have one loop you can go through. So I'll just show you. It's like a little loop there. So you have the bottom and the top loop. So we want to go through that one. So you just take, let's see if we can get through that with this. Take that one. Okay? So if you have it upside down, they have little bumps there, so we don't want that. Can you see that? Little bumps? And on this side it's just a little V. So if you go with the little V, you go through the top loop only, and then you make your single crochet. Okay, so we do that 35 times, but I'll show you a few times because it's a little bit tricky if you're not used to it. Okay, get rid of. So there's your little V's. That's a top loop, and that's the one we want. So there's your single crochet. Same this one. Here's your loop. You want the top one. So this is a little bit slow going, but take your time so you don't miss one or you don't twist it. We just take that one through the loop and make your single crochet. So you do that 35 times, okay? And then I'll see you at the end. Okay, so we've done 1 single crochet in each of the chain 35, and it's starting to look like a handle. Now we get to the single crochets of the bag edge, and all you have to do is do 1 single crochet in each. So that one is the, actually we might make one here to make it a bit sturdier. So wherever you can fit it in, but this should be the first one. And then just 1 single crochet in every single crochet. Should be 24 till you get to your other handle. And then you can probably do the handle yourself, but I might just show you the beginning again so you don't have to rewind and juggle your crochet in your video. Okay, I'll see you at the handle. Just do 1 single crochet in each. So we've done our 24 singles in between the 2 handles, and we're up to our second chain 35. And once again we do 1 single crochet in each of the chains. So make sure you get your little loops on the top and not those little, bumpy bits. So there's your loops, and we're going to the top loop again. So just that one. First one is a little bit fiddly. Okay. And go ahead and make your single crochet. So we have to do that 35 times. So again, there's your V sort of thing, and take the top loop. Just find the little hole. I know this is a little bit fiddly, but don't give up because we're nearly at the end of the whole bag. You do need handles, makes it easier to carry. Okay, so I've done a few to show you. Oops. So that's what it looks like, exactly like the first handle. Go ahead, make your single crochets in every chain till you get to the end, and I'll see you there. So we finished our single crochet in every chain of the chain 35, and we're back to our 24 single stitches. So all you have to do, you really don't need my help anymore, you just do 24 single stitches in the single stitches. So the first one is a little bit tricky, but then it should be easy. Just go through both the loops and keep going till you get to the beginning of the first handle. So I can show you all 24, or I can just see you at the end. I might just see you at the end. Okay, so we've done round 7 now, where we did 1 single stitch in the chain and 1 single stitch in every single stitch. Now we're going to do round 8, 9 and 10, which are really super easy because all you have to do is 1 single stitch in each stitch of the previous round. And because we've made a single stitch in the chain, now you can see that you can just go through both the loops now, which is so much easier than trying to get into that chain. So you've done the hard work. Now you just go 1 single stitch in every single stitch, just like that, and you go all the way around. So see where I have my stitch marker, that was where we started the chain, so you can eyeball it where it actually starts. So this will be round 8, go all the way around, then do it again for round 9 and round 10, and then all you have to do is fasten off. I haven't showed you how to fasten off, but I will tell you now because it's super easy. All you do, you cut your yarn and pull it through the loop. That's it. And all you have to do after you finish your row 8, 9 and 10, so cut your yarn, pull it through, then you have to weave it in, and after you weave that in, turn your bag around, and there's the one thread you still have to put in, and after that you're done. Well done! You made your first bag. Okay, just in case you don't know how to sew your ends in, I'm going to show you, because actually the first time I didn't know and it unraveled, so we don't want all your work to be for nothing. So we turned the bag around, so this is the inside of the bag, and that's your first thread you started with. So just pull it a little bit tight so that little hole is a little bit smaller. Okay, and then you just secure it with a wool needle or a tapestry needle, whichever one you get to fit this thick yarn, and go through some loops. Now the best way I find is to go one way a few times. Now you have to, because this is so thick, hope you can still see it, you just have to force it through a little bit. There we go, one. So go one way for a few stitches. See if you can get it through, because the start it's pretty tight. There we go. Let's do it the same way still. One more, and then we'll turn around. I find if you do one way, then turn around. So we did that way, didn't we? So we go this way now. If you do that 3 times, then it won't come loose. I've never had any of my ends after I started doing this come loose. So it's a little bit of work, but seeing we only used 1 ball, you only have 2 ends to put away. So it's not a lot of work. But you want it secure because you did all this work. You don't want to end up with a bag that falls apart. I think this is the longest bit of the video. Okay, turn it around, go the other way. You can do this as many times as you like, but 3 times seems to be the magic thing for me. And it doesn't really matter where you put it in. There, that'll be enough for me. There. This end you can just cut off. Okay. And well, I didn't finish this completely, but then your bag is finished.